that's the reality. So if it's something you can't control, that's fine. But I'm talking about the women who decide not to have kids. It's by their own choice, and they delay it. And then once they hit that certain age, and then I do believe it does make it harder because most guys that you're gonna meet, they want to have a family. They want their own legacy.
I want to maybe do some statistical analysis on what most guys is. But Gloria, what are you going to say?
I don't know. I feel like I'll still be able to find someone that doesn't want kids, or like the last guy I dated, he had kids of his own, and I was like, oh, that's perfect. I don't have to have them. Like, I feel like there's always someone out there that you can find that will meet your needs. So,
hey Jared, do you want kids, Jared, one day?
So for a long time, I was in this mindset of like, yeah, I definitely want to be a dad. And then when I actually started having like a really demanding job that involved like taking care of people all day, like 50, 60 hours a week, most weeks. Then I was like, the thought of like coming home and having a whole new set of people to take care of was like, fuck no. Now I'm like 50-50. I've dated women with kids. It's not important to me to have my own biological children. And that's the thing too, Will, like I think if I go into looking for a partner with like a scorecard of like has to have this and this and this and this, that's just not how life works. Like, and like, because even though I'm very driven and purpose driven in my life and in my career, like, I don't know if what I'm doing now is what I'm going to be doing 5 years from now. And I have no idea what I'm going to be doing 20 years from now. And so like the idea of like, well, I'm not going to marry you unless you kind of sign this contract or we both agree that this is where we're going and we're going to have this kind of life together. Like, I think I don't know, like that just doesn't feel like love to me. It's like, hey, something in my soul recognizes something in your soul, and let's like walk through this fucking adventure of life together. And who knows what it's going to be. Like, maybe we'll have children, maybe we won't. Maybe we'll, go live in the jungle, or like, who knows what the hell's going to happen. Right. Rather than being like, this is the plan, and if you don't have these qualities, or if you don't want this, then like, I don't know. I think there's something deeper than that.
Well, I think what I'm kind of like piecing together in this whole conversation is like, if you want these things and they work for you, great. Like, if you want to be with a woman that she's going to give you a child, she's going to be more submissive, she's going to be feminine, like, do it. But I don't know that it's the right thing to be preaching that rhetoric to all of the men, because it's pushing toxicity into our culture, when really what we should all be doing is having our own ideas, like Gloria said earlier, of what we want to do, like what fulfills us, like where do we get our affirmations from. And like, for me, I don't know if I will be able to have kids now. And unfortunately, like, I had a really long marriage that didn't work out, that we'd had decided we weren't going to have kids. And then I went through a period where I was like, well, I don't know. I don't think I want to have kids. And then I'm like, well, maybe I do. And like, I don't know if I will have them or not. But what I do know is that my purpose in life was I was created by an amazing being who loves me, whether I fucking have a child or not, and will give me a purpose in my life of what to do. And I hope that we can all come away with this of like, what works for us. And like, let's not push that on other people.
Okay. No, I know. I totally understand. All I'm saying is, I don't believe anybody in this world wants to die alone. I just believe that. I don't believe anybody wants to live their whole life without a family, without kids, without a husband, without a wife. I don't think that's what we were created to be together. I believe men and women. Maybe that's my traditional or belief, but I believe men and women were created to be together, and we're better together than apart. And then we were meant to build something together, build families. So I don't believe anybody in this world would want to live their whole life, 70, 80 years, and 80 years of their life alone without a family to leave behind to build something. And I mean, that's just, maybe there's people out there, but I think, that's fine if there's something. Well, I don't have a problem with it. I don't think anybody is like, I don't think anybody in their mind right now, like, you know what, I want to live a life for the rest of my life without a family, without kids. I think in life we all presented different challenges and we have different circumstances. Sometimes our life, depending on the decisions we make, depending on the circumstances or the life we're given, we may not be able to have kids or whatever the reason. But I think deep down, every single person in this world, if they wanted to manifest their dream life or their like dream happiness or what they want in this life, I think people would say that if everything worked out the way they wanted to work out, they would want to be in a happy marriage. They would want to be a happy wife. Would want to be with a happy husband, and they would want to have some kids and a happy family. If everything worked out in life, but the reality is, life doesn't always happen that way. And unfortunately, people don't get that doesn't happen to a lot of people. And I have compassion for those people. But I'm saying is, I do believe that everybody wants a family at the end of the day. I just can't fathom anybody saying I just want to be alone for the rest of my life.
I don't think any of us are saying that.
Exactly. But that's why I'm saying that's why we should push that narrative. Hey, like have a family, don't delay it, make good choices with your life. You know, don't be with the wrong people, be with the right partner, have great relationships, don't be in toxic relationships. Then you have a better probability of attracting a family, a good husband, a good wife, and some kids. But that depends on everybody's circumstances. But to say that, you know, there's people out there that will you don't need that to be happy. For me, I just can't see you live the whole life like that. That's just me.
Yeah, I think it's like the Maslow's hierarchy of needs. I think the second tier is the sense of belonging. I think people just need to feel like they belong to something. So I don't think, like, for me, I think I would be happy being single for the rest of my life as long as I had like a good group of friends and I felt like I belonged to something more than just myself. Like I would hate being alone, but it doesn't mean that I need a partner. I think
it's you're saying that now, Gloria, when you're nice and young. I'm telling you, when you hit 50 and you hit 60 and you hit 70 and you have no one else to be with, that's when it's gonna hit. So it's easy now when you're younger, but I have aunties and grandmas that are like 50 or 60, they're alone and they're miserable. And you know, when they were younger, like they had that mentality like, oh, I don't need anybody, I'm good. But like, yeah, it's good now when we're younger, like, you know, but when the reality starts to set in, when you get old.
Well, but I mean, what I would say though is like, Will, I'm in agreement completely that love and connection and family and community is what gives life meaning. And I think those are universal needs, and that is universal. I would say though that like love and family and all of these things can take many different forms, right? I have friends who are gay. I have friends who have gay parents. I have, you know what I'm saying? And like, and also, and being family doesn't mean necessarily being in a romantic or sexual relationship. It doesn't mean, you know, being related by blood. Like some people have to flee their families from abuse and all kinds of mistreatment and stuff like that. And then they have to go out and like find their real families. And that can look like what Gloria is saying, right? Like very close community of friends